Hi, and thank you for joining me for day 11 of Scraptember 2023. This is a series hosted by Laura Alberts and the Scrappy Sisters, and it's great. They provide prompts every day for us to work with, and today's prompt is to use a selfie. So I've chosen, it was great on my iPhone. I don't know whether you're aware of this feature. If you go into albums on your photos, there is an album that has selfies. So you can just go through there and see what you've taken. And this is a photo of my husband and I on Christmas Day last year, 2022. We were cooking the Christmas dinner and I just took a quick selfie of us. So I thought that would be a really nice one to scrap. And what I love about scrapping this photo is that it's very neutral. Ross has got a blue t-shirt on. I'm wearing a beige dress and it's just the white kitchen cupboards behind us. So it doesn't look Christmassy at all. So I'm going to Christmas it up a little bit with the bits that I'm using. So I've started off with an Amelia Creates cut file there. And you will have seen I've used some Distress Oxide inks in Pine Needles, which is the green, and Lumberjack Plaid, which is the red, along with the small blending brushes that we sell at Hey Little Magpie to create an ombre effect on that cut file. Now I'm not entirely happy with that, so I will change that shortly. But in the meantime, I've just pulled out some bits. I have a little box full of my Christmas ephemera pieces. I don't do a huge amount of Christmas scrapping, so I have a little photo box that I keep all my ephemera bits in, and I just went through that before I started recording and pulled some bits out that I thought I might like to use. So I've got a journaling tag that I've put at the top that says family traditions, and I've just used that as a photo mat. A little tab that I'm going to add the date to, and a tag and an ephemera piece saying 25th of December, and then a little wreath that you can see poking out the side of that. So this is where I changed the cut file. I couldn't get past the fact that it looked like the Italian flag because it was red, white and green. So I decided to add some black down the middle, and I really like the pop that gives, and it also makes it stand out a bit more against that white background that I'm using. So I'm just using my Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to stick that down. I've kept the bottom letters free of adhesive for now because I want to tuck that photo underneath, and I think I want to add a photo mat, so I'm just deciding. Now you can see a couple of the leaves fell off the cut file. I was a little bit rough with it, and they are very, very delicate, but when it's stuck down on the background you can't tell the difference. So here I am just matting my photo. I wanted to add a white border to start with, so just putting it on a scrap of white card, and then I've pulled out a Vicky Boutin, I think it's Evergreen and Holly, a 6x8 paper pad that I'd used last year to document my December. So just pulled a piece of that out and I'm going to mat the photo onto that. I like it because it's just black with white snowflakes, so it doesn't really interfere with the various other colours that I've got there in the layout. So just trimming that down, just have a little border, and then I'll take it off screen and distress the edges with my Tim Holtz edge distresser. I do that off screen just so that I don't get all the paper bits all over my desk. So I'm just lifting up the bottoms of those letters so that I can just slip this under the very, very bottoms. It just makes everything gel together a little bit more, in my mind anyway, if I tuck that under the cut file. So now I'm just gluing everything down. So there's that little journaling piece that I had that says family traditions, because this is a family tradition. Ross and I host Christmas Day every year. My sister hosts Christmas Eve, and Mum and Dad normally order a takeout for us all on Boxing Day, which is great. It's really nice that we all live so close together and we can do that. We're within walking distance, so it's wonderful. So there's that wreath. Now normally I probably would have cut this in half and kept the piece that was tucked underneath, but as I mentioned, I don't do a great deal of Christmas scrapping, so it was nice just to use something up rather than cutting it in half and having another half of a piece floating around. If it was general ephemera, then I definitely would have kept that for a future layout. So these little bits that I'm messing about with here, that's a JD3DPrint piece that we put in the Document December kit that Jackie Ashton and I did last year. I have a gold one, and then I'm going to add a red one at the top here. That Flair badge is from Hey Little Magpie. We sell those on Etsy. The link's in the description box if you're interested in any of our Flair badges. They're great, if I say so myself, all designed by us. So I'm just adding a tangle of yellow thread underneath that to bring the gold around the page a little bit more. So just sticking the tangle of thread down and then adding the Flair badge on top. And that cluster is starting to build up really nicely at the bottom there. So gluing down that little JD3DPrint star piece. And then I'm going to add the date at the top to that tab that I've stuck at the top there. I wanted to add that before I stick down the JD3D piece so that it doesn't get in the way of the roller date stamp. So sticking that down now, again just with some wet glue. I use the Nuvo Deluxe. And then coming in with some more tangled thread, because I've added it to the bottom right, I wanted to add a little bit to the top left. I always like to mirror what I'm doing on my layout, just for balance really, more than anything. So just adding that up there. So just a blob of glue just to hold it in place, and tucking it underneath with my scissors for a little bit of assistance. Anything would do, pokey tool or whatever you've got to hand. And now I'm coming in with my glue just to get those bottoms of that cut file stuck down. Now that I've got the photo in place, they can all be stuck down to the layout. And there's not really much else to this layout. It came together ever so quickly. And like I say, I really love how using all this Christmas ephemera embellishments and cut files makes it a Christmas photo where it wouldn't have been had I not done that. So adding some wax twine to the tag and just letting it trail down the side, and that brings a little bit of detail and texture to that right hand side of the layout. So just adding a dot of glue to hold that in place so it doesn't go too far. And then I'm going to come in with my journaling. There's not an awful lot to say, but I've just put a quick Christmas Day selfie in the kitchen whilst preparing Christmas dinner. And then I doodled a heart. And you'll see in a minute what I do with that heart, because it just looked too stark at the bottom. So just messing around a bit, I realised that 25th of December title was crooked, so I pulled that up, and in doing that you can see the Flair badge is now crooked, but you'll see in the final close-ups at the end that I do rectify that. I do straighten it and re-glue it down. So now I've done this, I came in with my crystal dots. These were in the kit that I mentioned that Jackie did last year for Document December. And I have plenty of them left, and they're little gold crystals, self-adhesive, so I thought they'd be really nice to add as scattering pieces around the page. So just coming in with those. And I can't remember if I've done it already while I was chattering away. I also added a roller date stamp at the bottom underneath my journaling. I just felt that it needed something else at the bottom there. So here I am with that heart, and I've just used my Distress Oxide. I watered it down and I've used it as a watercolour, and that's a great way of using your inks. Just smear a bit onto some packaging or onto a glass mat if you use one, and use it as a watercolour. And then finally coming in with my gold watercolour paint just to add some splatters all around the page. And that's it. So please do just check the description box down below to see everybody else who's joining in on this fabulous hop. And other than that, I shall see you tomorrow. Thanks so much. Bye.